From the world's leading center for finance, the arts, publishing, science, research, media, innovation, and much more. This is Metro Focus with Rafael P. Roman, winner of the New York State Broadcasters Award for Outstanding Locally Produced Television Program.
Tonight, jobs. Where are they and what do they pay?
The hope is that if employers start to feel more confident, they'll take more people on full time.
He ran the MTA. Can he run the city?
All of our mayors have been interesting characters, and I know I will be an interesting mayor as well.
Can nature protect us from nature? In a surprising path to artistic success.
I don't know if it was the knock on the head, but for some reason it just suddenly made sense.
Funding for this program is made possible by the Ford Foundation, working with visionaries on the front lines of social change worldwide. Corporate funding for Metro Focus is provided by Mutual of America, your retirement company, and by the following.
Hello, I'm Rafael P. Roman. Welcome to Metro Focus. The economy. Whether it's a political candidate, a union leader, a teacher, or a student, the economy and jobs are the concerns at the very top of just about everyone's list. But how far are we on the road to economic recovery? We'll talk to a Wall Street Journal reporter who regularly drills down into the unemployment numbers. But first, a look at one slice of the employment picture at a new and growing small grocery in Brooklyn.
I'm going to get a soy iced chai latte.
When this corner gourmet grocery named Depanair opened in 2010, owner Nicolina Mavros started very small.
First month we opened, it was just myself and one of the other partners. We worked behind the counter, it was just two of us. And then we finally hired someone after about a month, and it was like 4 people. We slowly grew now to 16.
The jobs she's created in the past 3 years reflect something you can hear outside. A building boom that's bringing jobs and money to this borough.
So we're so lucky to have opened in this area. I mean, Williamsburg, it's just crazy, the amount of condos going up, and you can probably hear the construction in the background.
Between 2000 and 2012, Brooklyn experienced the largest percentage increase in new jobs in New York City, 18.8%. At Depanair, that statistic translates into real jobs. Meet Gabriel Baz, who couldn't find a job near his home in Jamaica, Queens, and jumped at the chance to be in Brooklyn.
I haven't had any job in Queens. Most of my jobs were in the city of Brooklyn here.
Bass is one of 5 full-time jobs in the store. Most of the other employees work part-time, many by choice.
It works out to how the shifts work out. I have some people that are pretty much almost full-time, but I have a lot of people that are artists and musicians, and they do other things. So I try to be as flexible as possible.
Mavros pays $11 to $16 an hour, significantly more than the current minimum wage. She says she can't afford to offer health insurance yet, but she does want more full-time people on her payroll. She's just having trouble finding them.
It's New York, and everyone has something going on, and it's hard to actually find full-time people.
For Gabriel Bass, on the job now for 6 months, the busy store and the new jobs are a good sign for the city.
In New York City, I think there are a lot more better opportunities here, in terms of losing one job and finding the other, because there are always small businesses starting up every other day, and there are a lot more opportunities every other day, and I think we're making a little bit progress, definitely.
And joining me now is Laura Cusisto, a reporter for the Wall Street Journal who covers the New York region. Laura, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Now, Laura, what we just saw, is that typical of what's happening with jobs and small businesses around the city?
Yeah, absolutely. There are 2 trends that I think that really draws out. One is that we're seeing a lot of job creation in Brooklyn, and the other is that the sectors where we're seeing it in tend to be entertainment, restaurants, retail, places where they're hiring people to work, a few shifts a week, many shifts a week, but generally part-time.
So is that good news? I mean, most of the jobs part-time, no health benefits, better than minimum wage, but not great wages. Is that good news coming out of a deep recession, or is that the new normal?
Well, I think that's the looming question right now. I do think that we have been creating part-time jobs longer coming out of this recession than many economists I talked to have hoped. But the question is, are we just recovering a little bit more slowly, or is this a shift in the New York City economy? Are we going to see fewer of those really high-paying finance jobs? Are we going to see an economy more focused around tourism, which creates more part-time jobs? I think it's too early to tell, but there's some indication at least that there's been a bit of a shift in the economy.
So for the time being, these are the jobs that are replacing those high-paying finance jobs that we lost after the meltdown?
They're certainly a big part of it, yeah. And those retail jobs, home health aid jobs, absolutely.
When politicians talk about diversifying the economy, they talk about diversifying it with high-tech, high-paying jobs. Isn't that happening as well?
It's happening, but it's far too early to say that tech is in any way replacing finance.
Why? Because there's not enough jobs in there? Even as more high-tech companies come in, there's just not enough jobs in high-tech?
Well, think about the tech companies that you know of, right? Many of them are really just hiring a few people, right? They're little startups and they're in lofts in Soho, and that's great, but it's not enough to have a really big impact on the economy. For every Tumblr, there's a bunch of little tiny companies.
So what are economists saying about what the obstacles? What are the obstacles preventing better jobs being created now?
It seems like a big part of it right now is just confidence. That if you create a part-time job, it's much more flexible. You can reduce someone's wages if the economy turns down. And the hope is that if companies, employers start to feel more confident, they'll take more people on full time.
Is the fear of the potential cost of Obamacare one of those obstacles?
That's a big debate right now. There are economists that say Obamacare is making it harder for people to hire full-time workers. There are people who say it will do just the opposite. And overwhelmingly what I hear is, let's wait for it to take effect, then we'll see what happens.
What about what some of the politicians in this mayoral campaign are saying, that there's too many job-killing taxes, there are too many rules and regulations? Anything to that?
That certainly seems fair in my experience. Small businesses notoriously kind of have a bleak outlook on the world. They always complain, but it does seem to be true that the way in which the Bloomberg administration has leveled health fines, other types of fines on businesses, they say at least is creating a disincentive for them to grow, for people to open new businesses.
Any bright spots on the economic horizon in the city?
Well, I think that the bright spot is that if employers are at least hiring people get into the job market, they get something on their resume. Hopefully the next thing that they get maybe isn't a low-wage part-time job.
In an ideal situation, what will it take to create a real renaissance, economic renaissance in the city?
I think those tech jobs are going to have to be a big part of it. I think diversifying the economy in general, and maybe finding a way to use tourism to create more high-skilled jobs would also help.
All right, Laura, thank you so much.
Thank you.
To win the primary election for mayor of New York, a candidate needs 40% of his or her party's vote. Might be tough for a Democrat, as there are more than half a dozen candidates running on that line. But on the Republican side, there's a good chance someone will get the needed number and be headed for the November election without a runoff. We've talked with many of the candidates here over the summer, and you can see all of our interviews online at metrofocus.org as part of our NYC Votes 2013 project. Last week, I spoke with candidate Joe Lhota, who faces John Catsimatidis and George McDonnell in the Republican primary, and we'll show you that interview in just a moment. But first, here's a look at one way Lhota has been introducing himself to New York voters.
In these uncertain times, only one candidate for mayor has already proven he's ready: Joe Lhota. Joe is New York. Born in the Bronx, lives in Brooklyn, son of a New York cop, first in his family to go to college. From his leadership during 9/11 to getting the subways running again so quickly after Sandy, Joe has gotten the job done for New York. Joe Lhota is New York, and he's ready to be our mayor.
And with me now is the candidate, Joe Lhota. Mr. Lhota, welcome.
Thank you, Raphael. Great to be here. And thank you for showing my commercial. I appreciate that very much.
Okay, we show all the candidates' commercials if that's what we have. So, Mr. Lhota, the very first item on your campaign website under key priorities is the economy and jobs. What is the first action you'll take as mayor to create or help create jobs in the city?
Well, jobs and the diversification of our economy is something I will focus on every single day as mayor. Right out of the box, I want to make sure that the government of the city of New York gets out of the way of the young entrepreneurs in this city. They're everywhere in all 5 boroughs who, the new generation, the millennials, all have this wonderful desire that they want to start their own business. You know, our generation, we're not used to, you know, we didn't grow up with computers and with apps and all of that. They have, and they want to create them. We have taxes that get in the way of making them open up their businesses. You know, our income tax, our corporate income tax is not just an income tax. If you don't have income, they charge on capital. And the young folks are very concerned about it.
And Mr. Lota, that's right. There are some high-tech jobs, but as we heard in the previous interview, the majority of jobs being created in the city are low-wage, mostly in the retail industry with no benefits or very little benefits. What can you do to change that?
Actually, you know, most of the jobs that have been created over the last 10 to 20 years have been in the hospitality business. And when you look at what's happened to tourism over the last 20 years, with the reduction in crime, a focus on marketing the city of New York within the country and around the world, we now have 53 million visitors a year. We have hotels all over the place. We need to create both entry-level jobs and all types of jobs. We need more high-tech jobs. We're losing the Wall Street jobs because Wall Street is contracting. We're losing legal jobs because the legal industry is contracting. As mayor, I need to focus on bringing new industries to New York. And the high-tech industry, actually, the next mayor is going to be able to reap the investment made by Mike Bloomberg in having applied science campuses built here, both on Roosevelt Island and the NYU new facility in downtown Brooklyn, be able to create new engineers in New York. The focus is going to be, let's not create investment bankers and lawyers, let's create engineers, let's create architects, let's create people who create things with their hands, and I think it'll be very, very helpful to New York.
Now, Mr. Lota, we've asked our viewers to submit questions to the candidates, and we have one now from Anne-Marie of Queens. She asks, what are your plans for stop and frisk if you become the mayor?
Well, first off, I am supporting Mayor Bloomberg's appeal of the stop, question, and frisk ruling. I think, you know...
You're talking about the federal judge who ruled that it was unconstitutional.
Well, she didn't rule. What she basically said, she thought that the way the NYPD was implementing stop and frisk and stop, question, and frisk crossed the line and were violation of the Fourth Amendment. Quite honestly, I will continue stop, question, and frisk. What I will do different is that there will be more intensive training of police officers, and the community will hear about what that training is. And more importantly, I'll create a more enhanced communication with the communities to understand what police officers are allowed to do within the law.
Now, Mr. Lota, a few weeks ago, Mayor Bloomberg said that if this city doesn't get a handle on the exploding pension and health care costs of public employees, we may be heading down the road to Detroit. Do you agree with that?
I think, you know, we're not Detroit, but, you know, we have to take certain steps to prevent going on the road.
What is the principal step that you'll take to avoid that?
Well, one of the things is, there are a lot of different areas and why New York steps to Detroit. One is fiscal, one is basically on employee benefits. Another one is crime and crime reduction. The other one is the fact that the economy needs to be diversified. Think about Detroit. The reason why Detroit disappeared is because the auto industry decided to move elsewhere. They had all their eggs in one basket. We need to make sure that if, God forbid, something happens to the Wall Street business, that we have something else to keep New York elevated. When it comes to employee collective bargaining agreements, I have said it is very important that New York City workers pay and begin the process of paying for their health care. Everyone, federal employees, some state employees, the managerial employees at the MTA, I'm sure you pay for a portion of your health care. Some New York City employees pay nothing, others pay 1.5%. The average in New York is employees pay about 25% of their health care. We have to begin the process of making sure that employees are on a fair basis with other employees throughout this.
There are about 162 bargaining units of public employees that you're going to have to negotiate with because their contracts are expired. Are you going to make contribution to health care mandatory part of those negotiations?
I will put it on the table, and it's very important to me, but here's what I'm going to do. On the day after I'm elected, November 6th, I'm going to sit down with the union leaders of the city, maybe not all 163, but the major union leaders, and sit down and create a roadmap. I want them to hear where I come from. I want them to tell me where they come from, what their issues are, and then we can create a roadmap as to how to get it done.
Now, finally, Mr. Lota, when you decided to jump into the race last winter, a lot of the writers who've been following you since you were with the Giuliani administration predicted that the race would be fun and exciting because of your sense of humor and your outsized personality. Right. Some of those writers are now saying, where's that Joe Lota? Where is that Joe Lota?
It's very different being in an appointed position, and it's another situation to be running for office. That Joe Lhota is still here. I am trying to keep my personality, my humor in check because
For the time being, until you get elected?
What some people find funny, other people don't find funny. And so I'm trying to get the vote of all New Yorkers. I'm going into all communities. I cherish the diversity of the city. And so what I want to do is have them go in and understand who I am, what I can do for them as mayor. And yeah, all of our mayors in some way, shape, or form have all been interesting characters. Right. All of them. And I can describe it to you if you want, but they've all been very, very interesting. And I know I will be an interesting mayor as well.
All right, Mr. Lhota, thank you so much.
Thanks, Raphael. I appreciate it.
Have your own questions for the candidates? Send them to us on our website, metrofocus.org, and we may ask them on the air. With billions of dollars earmarked for recovery from Superstorm Sandy and to prepare for future storms, there's a lot of debate about what to build, what to rebuild, and where. But a new report from a group called the Natural Capital Project takes a detailed look at investments we might want to consider to protect natural resources. The group is a partnership that includes Stanford University, the Nature Conservancy, the World Wildlife Fund, and the University of Minnesota. One of the report's co-authors is the Nature Conservancy's chief scientist, Peter Kareiva. I asked him about the focus of the study and about how nature can actually reduce the risk of nature.
In our study focused on natural habitats along the coast, marshes, eelgrass, oysters, and things like that. And in this situation, what nature does is it reduces the wave energy and the storm surge, and then it protects both property and lives from the flooding damage. We've known this for a long time. We've known it from tsunamis in Asia and from Katrina, but this is the first time we really looked at something like this for a whole country.
Did we see significant examples of nature protecting us from nature during Sandy in this region?
There are cases where the dunes were left and where the salt marshes, that after the fact it looks like the homes suffered less damage. You know, one of the sad things is we don't have really good maps of exactly where this natural habitat is. And that's one of the points of our study is let's really get the information on these valuable assets. And the next time we'll really be able to give you a definitive answer.
So, now you say that you've known this a long time, but do you also believe that planners and public officials have underestimated the protective powers of natural habitat up to now, up to your study?
So I think they have, and a way to think about it is all previous studies have been after the fact. A storm hits, and you see where people are hurt. What we were trying to do is be proactive. So we're giving them information before the next storm and saying, you know, New York, Florida, California, those three states, there's a lot nature can do for you. Look closely and you can see it. So instead of sort of chasing the ambulance and going after the fact, let's get ahead of the game and give the information to the planners before the storm hits.
By the way, do we have a way of knowing how much worse the damage would have been in the region from Sandy if not for the natural habitats?
We do. So we did an experiment in the paper. I'll call it an experiment because what we did with our models is we said what happened if there were no natural habitat. So we kind of just eliminated all of it and then asked how much more damage would be done, how much more at risk. And what we find out, and this is at a national scale, that the habitat protects about 1.3 million people. 250,000 elderly people, $300 billion of property.
By the way, how much of the entire U.S. coastline is now in areas considered high risk?
I guess it would be about maybe 1/3,
really?
1/4.
And how much of those areas can be better protected by natural habitat than by hard protection like walls and levees?
It's not an either or. You probably need both. Every extra foot in a levee costs you a lot of money. And levees, may not do, the job for all the small storms. And so what we're really looking for is let's protect our coastal communities with a mix. And the good thing about the natural habitats is they also provide fish. They provide recreation. They clean the water. And so if you did a cost-benefit analysis, they're a bargain.
So now that this study is done, how should it direct planners and public officials in their efforts? Concretely, in their efforts to protect us from future superstorms?
I think that what this study tells you is it certainly tells New York, and New York has already learned this lesson from Sandy, it tells New York, Florida, and California, you have natural habitats that give you real value in terms of protection. Pay attention. Make sure you don't damage them, and where possible, restore them and make them bigger.
What do you think of Mayor Bloomberg's plan to protect the city? Does it take natural habitat sufficiently into account?
It certainly takes it seriously. And it's one of the first, cities are some of the most innovative places for all this climate change risk and everything. And Bloomberg's plan is visionary because it's our scientists are consulting and working with them.
And Peter, what about areas that are highly populated and that have high value infrastructure right on the coastline, like so much of Manhattan? How do we best protect those areas?
So even in a lot of those areas, natural habitat can help you. Because one of the things natural habitat does is it doesn't just protect you from storms, it protects you from coastal erosion. And all along these developed areas, you're losing shoreline, buildings are being more exposed. So what it does is it dissipates the wave energy. Instead of the wave crashing down and taking the sediment away, it spreads out that energy. And so it can be really important for the long haul, not just for these big disasters. I think when we get the thorough study, we'll find that natural habitat is one of the best investments we could make as a nation.
Right, because the natural habitats, I'm guessing it's a cheaper way to protect the city, right?
It's cheaper and it replenishes itself. Mm-hmm. You don't have to rebuild the concrete.
Well, Peter, thank you so much.
Great.
Finally tonight, an artist story that comes with an almost unbelievable beginning and an inspiring ending. Binghamton Station, WSKG, introduces us to G.C. Myers, who discovered his talent for painting after a construction accident and who now finds his subject matter not in his hometown of Horseheads, New York, but in his suddenly more vivid imagination.
My name is Gary Myers. I paint as G.C. Myers, and I am a contemporary painter. I started painting in the fall of '93. I was working on a house that's next door to this studio, and I had an accident where I had a ladder collapse under me. I fell about 16 foot, knocked out my teeth, broke my wrist. I was pretty banged up for a few months. And I pulled out some paintbrushes and some old airbrush paints that were the result of a failed experiment from a few years before, and jammed the brushes into my cast and started doodling. And I don't know if it was the knock on the head or what, but for some reason it just suddenly made sense. I was able to see color harmony. I was able to really see form even better. I became really obsessed and began painting on a daily basis, several hours a day, in between my job and completing the house. Within 3 years, I became a full-time painter, and I've been a full-time painter for this is my 15th year, right? I'm going into my 16th year. It's all intuitive. I like bold color, but I also like color that has a lot of depth to it. Very seldom are you going to look at something of mine and just see blue. You're going to see bits of yellow, green, maybe even a little bit of red in there. The paintings are really equally about texture and color. Both are really vital, I think, for my work. Color really conveys the emotion, and the texture just gives it greater depth. And I think that is one of the important aspects of it. I think that differentiates the work. The red tree is merely an invitation for people to come into the painting. And then they get to see the color, the texture, the forms behind it. I like to have complex colors. It makes it more interesting for the viewer, and it gives them greater depth into the picture. And that's what you're really looking for, is something that connects and keeps the eye interested. I'm expressing human emotion through the landscape. They're not scenes of local landscape. I want to just be able to express something on the surface that expresses what I'm feeling. Painting is the one thing that I feel completely confident in my life. And I think that's probably the real driving force.
Meyer's landscapes are so evocative that even though they're from his imagination, people from all over the world keep telling him that the paintings remind them of home. The universal power of art. And that's it for this edition of Metro Focus. There's still time to send us your questions for the candidates in the upcoming election. Just go to metrofocus.org. And join us again next week for news, conversations, and in-depth reporting from New York and New Jersey Public Television. I'm Rafael Piroman. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Funding for this program was made possible by the Ford Foundation, working with visionaries on the front lines of social change worldwide. Corporate funding for Metro Focus is provided by Mutual of America, your retirement company, and by the following: